There's Catherine, the clinic, and seemingly what is now next. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me today. You all right? Absolutely. We'll have a quick wave. A beautiful sunny day here so far, but you never know, do you? Do like to share that little bon mot with you, of course. But whatever you're doing, thank you as ever for taking the time out. Lovely comments, by the way, for our recent two matinees as well. Glad you enjoyed them. As one lady pointed out, Sudden Fear was very frightening indeed. And that was the thing, wasn't it? You know, I think they made you frightened without, all of this stuff now what's popping out the screen. It was through the eyes and the acting ability and the beautiful orchestrated music behind them. It did make things seem a little bit more tense, shall we say. Wonderful film. If you haven't checked it out, do have a look. I think you might just enjoy it. Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Now, this particular story, let me be brutally honest with you. Everybody in the media knew the background to this story. We knew that the Princess of Wales, Catherine, was really kind of forced into making that admission on video camera. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I felt incredibly sad for the fact that she'd been forced to do that, As I said many times here on the show, medical matters are private and nobody really wants to discuss them. Even with your closest friends, you kind of feel like you're a bit of a burden and you don't necessarily want to say all the things that are bothering you, and it's just the way it is, isn't it, And of course, what happened was the London clinic had a debacle with allegedly up to 3 people now being under investigation for allegedly tampering with medical records of royals, including, let me point out, which was not reported, His Majesty the King. Now, what's interesting, I find, about this particular story, as I said, everybody in the media that works in the media certainly knew the background to this story. So what happens next? Well, what we can tell you is this, that Catherine, I've been told from a reliable source, doesn't want this to be a debacle anymore, certainly does not want highlighting the 3 individuals that have been questioned and are still ongoing investigation behind the scenes of the London clinic. The bigger issue, of course, now is will the royals continue to use said clinic? It was meant to be one of the best in the world, but this particular lapse of security is going to throw a lot of security issues around that. As we know, they used to use the King Edward Hospital previously to that, in fact, Her Majesty the Queen, and of course Prince Philip famously used it. But for Catherine herself, a lot of people have been saying, well, it was brave for her to come out. I feel incredibly sad, as I said. Yes, it was brave, no two ways about it. And a lot of people ask the question, why was she sat alone? Well, it's my understanding, again, that Catherine really wanted to do that alone, address the world independently as a strong woman. But the bigger issue now is, obviously, and the bigger ongoing investigation is, who forced Catherine's hand? Was it the big fear of these particular records being leaked? Obviously, over here in the United Kingdom, no one would have dared to publish them. But as we know, in the world that we now live in, the same rules don't apply to the rest of the world. And that would have easily gotten out. There's no two ways about it. Of course, if they did publish them, it would be very easy to fast track and demand exactly where these particular individuals received such information. But isn't it sad that at a time of a very delicate time for the Princess of Wales, that all of this is going on around her? And seemingly, as many people felt, all we really wanted for her was to recover from said surgery. We didn't necessarily need to know the bigger issue. She could have dealt with that privately, individually, and then of course return to the royal fold. Seemingly though, 3 individuals at the London clinic had other ideas. And this truly is just the tip of the iceberg. It's a bigger developing story. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.